Hello everyone, welcome to JD's guidance once again, and we are going to again start with a new topic. This has a relation with the previous topics that I have posted, that is on isoquants and isocost line. Today we are going to talk about the slope of the isoquant. Knowing the slope of isoquant is important when we have to determine the producer's equilibrium. Okay. Today we will be discussing on slope of the isoquants. However, for other topics like what is isoquant, what are the properties of isoquant, what is the slope of the isocost line, what is isocost line, what is producer's equilibrium, for this I have separate videos, you can follow them. So in this video I am going to talk about the slope of the isoquant. Okay. So before we start discussing about the slope of the isoquant, let me just give you a small recap of what is isoquant all about. Those those who have not seen the other videos, for them just for a quick reference, what is isoquant, and then we will move on to see what is the slope of isoquant. So I am writing here the slope of isoquant. This is the discussion here. I mean, I'm going to talk about this. But for some quick reference, let us go back and see what is isoquant. I represent it by IQ. For a ready reference, we have seen that I have, as a producer, I can use two factors. One is called capital and the other one is called labor. Okay. So I am showing labor in the OX axis and I am showing capital in the OY axis. And as a producer, I can take any quantities of capital, I can take any quantities of labor. Okay. But there are some combinations which can produce the same quantity of output. Okay. So if I have combination A, I keep on repeating this in all my videos. Combination C, this is capital and this is labor. Suppose I have used 10 capital, I have used 1 labor, 7 capital, 2 labors, 5 capital, 3 labors. These are some of the combinations which can produce the same output. Same output. Suppose the output is 100. So I use this combination, this combination, this combination. All three combinations can produce the same output. But you might have some questions that there may be some other combinations which may not be producing 100. Some combinations of labor and capital may be producing more. Some combination of capital and labor may be producing less. That is beyond the scope of discussion when it comes to isoquant. Why? Because iso means same and quant means quantity. So we are concerned about all those combinations only which can produce the same quantity of output. Okay. Same thing when I show it in the form of a curve, it looks like this. It is a downward sloping curve. We have already seen this in some of the previous videos, why it is downward sloping. Okay. Now this is an isoquant IQ, which represents different combination of capital and labor. Say suppose this is my A combination which uses K3 amount of capital and L1 amount of labor. This is my combination B which uses K2 amount of capital and L2 amount of labor. And this is my combination C which uses K1 amount of capital and L3 amount of labor. Okay. And I have already told and I have already explained you in my previous videos that when we shift from one point to other, we are sacrificing capital and increasing labor. When we shift from B to C, we are sacrificing capital and increasing 1. Okay. You cannot increase one without sacrificing another. Okay. So this rate of sacrifice, how much you are sacrificing A to gain B, is known as marginal rate of technical substitution. This also we have already covered in one of the videos. So this rate by which I am substituting one for the other is known as marginal rate of technical substitution. The word technical is use Y, that is also explained, because I am shifting from capital to labor. So we are mainly shifting the technology from capital intensive to labor intensive. Okay. So this marginal rate of technical substitution is nothing but how much I am changing capital. Change in capital. Delta means change. This delta means change. This is delta K. And how much I am changing labor. This is delta L. So delta K by delta L happens to be the marginal rate of technical substitution, and which is also the slope of the isoquant. So what is the slope of isoquant? If it is asked, the slope of the isoquant is the rate at which one factor is substituted for the other factor. Technically, we call it marginal rate of technical substitution. This is also denoted as the ratio of the change in capital to change in labor. This is also known as the slope of isoquant. This much discussion is not enough. Why? Because the slope of isoquant can also be represented by another way. Let's understand. So I am saying the slope of isoquant is nothing but marginal rate of technical substitution of labor for capital, which is also nothing but change in capital divided by change in labor. Okay, and this is also equal to marginal productivity of labor divided by marginal productivity of capital. Now this much was clear. This I already made clear till this point. The rate at which I am sacrificing one and gaining another. Delta K by delta L represents that. But where from I got this marginal productivity of labor divided by marginal productivity of capital as a slope of isoquant? For this, let me explain you one thing. I told you that this is a curve which shows various combinations A, B, C I have told, but there are multiple number of combinations which has the capacity to produce 100 units as per my example. In my example, all these combinations can produce, whatever combination you pick up, it will produce 100 units only. Okay. Now that means if I shift from A to B or B to C, there is no change in output. Change in output is 0. Okay. So I am saying that change in output, change in quantity is always 0. Okay. Now why it is always 0? Because when I am shifting from A to B, I am reducing the capital and I am increasing the labor. That is why the production do not, or the output remains unaffected, because whatever loss in production happens due to the change in capital is compensated by the gain in labor. Okay, I reduced capital but I increased the labor. As a result, this 100 units remain unaffected. Okay, but I have changed the capital from when I go from A to B. Means I have increased or decreased. I have decreased the capital to gain some labor. Okay, so I know that change in capital quantity is 0, and I know that there is change in capital, and this change is negative. Why? Because I am reducing the capital. And there is also change in labor, but this is positive because I am gaining labor, I am increasing the labor. Okay, so here you see my change is negative because I have reduced. Here the change is positive because I have increased. Clear? Now when I have changed the capital, so this multiplied by marginal productivity of capital means 1 unit of capital has how much it is contributing to the productivity. So if you change 1 unit of capital, there is supposed to be some change in the productivity also. So how many units you have changed, you multiply with that. Okay, marginal productivity of capital means 1 unit of change in capital is making how much change in the production. So this is marginal productivity of 1 unit of change. You multiply by how many units you have changed. Okay. Similarly, 1 unit of labor makes some changes in the total production, and therefore there is a change in the marginal productivity of labor also. So marginal productivity of labor tells us for 1 unit increase in labor, how much unit increases in output. Okay. So marginal productivity of capital says 1 unit of capital, there is labor, brings about how much changes in output. How much changes in output. Okay. And you multiply by how many units of capital you have changed, and you multiply with how many units of labor you have changed. Okay. So this is just I am writing. So okay, I am just omitting this part. So now I got this. So what I see, that when I shift from point A to B, there is a change in capital accompanied by, or you can get the marginal productivity of capital also changes. So the total change is this. This total change is negative because I am sacrificing capital. So similarly, I am gaining the labor because from A to B I am gaining labor. So the change in labor is also 1 unit change in labor is supposed to bring some change in the production, that is marginal productivity of labor. You multiply with how many changes in labor you have made. Okay. Now see, my change in capital times marginal productivity of capital plus my change in labor times marginal productivity of labor will be equal to the change in quantity. So we know that the change in quantity will always be 0, because as you move from here to here, you are, as I already told you, you are not altering 100. You still have the capacity to produce 100. You just sacrifice capital, but you gained labor. So as a result of which the production remains unaffected. So I can just say that this is equal to 0. Okay. The change in quantity is 0. So I am just writing here only that this change, reduction in one and gain in other, brings no change in the quantity. Okay. Now what I can do is that I can just write, I can do one thing, I can just write minus delta K times marginal productivity of capital and take this that side. So it will become minus delta L times marginal productivity of labor. Okay. Till this much if it is done, then you are almost clear. Now what you do, you just cancel this minus comes, and now what you can do is that I can do what? I can write delta K and I divide this here is equals to delta L. This is equals to, I take this side, just cross multiplication, marginal productivity of labor, and I divide this by marginal productivity of capital. See, if you cross multiply, you will get this only. Clear? So what I have done here, delta K, I have brought this down. Okay. And this is there, I have brought this down. Just cross multiply. Okay. So now what you see, this is change in capital divided by change in labor. Marginal productivity of labor by marginal productivity of capital. So this is your slope of isoquant. Knowing the slope of isoquant is important. How do you determine the slope of isoquant? Remember, the slopes are different at different points. Okay. But the sum and substance is that the change in one, negative change in one is compensated by positive change in another, as a result of which your change in output is 0. And then finally you get this. But if you don't like, or if you do not understand this, fine, the inner fundamentals and derivations, but you must know this one. What is the slope of isoquant? If you can say, the slope of isoquant shows the degree or the magnitude of change in one factor for that of another, which is technically represented as marginal rate of technical substitution, and we can say it is the ratio of the change in capital to change in labor, and it is also the marginal productivity of labor divided by marginal productivity of capital, which we derived by this way. So this is all about the slope of isoquant. So please, if you have liked my video, press the like, and please subscribe my channel, and please stay tuned, and please press the bell icon so that you can be notified about the other videos that I upload. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.